now. See, seven. If I, I'm in Alaska, but I also have a local 763 number. But you put in your local zip code, and then you'll be able to find offices that are there locally. Will come up top. But just knowing your 6-digit code is a great way to navigate this process. So if you are a federal employee and you have been trained, or you have a question, go to your key worker or coordinator, and they'll be the ones will help you go through this and make sure that everything is correct. If you just know your CFC code and you put it in for your office, it will find everything for you and look up and change it to whatever your code is. So in this case, we're doing a Department of the Army in Alaska. So make sure that you know your code, and then after you make your gift, or you set up your account and decide how much you're going to give, searching for charities is easy. You have the ability to search for categories. You can search by city or state. You can search by overhead rate, and it'll give you information that this always happens when I'm just throwing issues out there. But you can find organizations that you want to give to, or if you know the CFC number specifically, you just go right into the giving site, put in the CFC number, search for that charity, and find that charity automatically. So when the charities come on today, we're going to have them start with their CFC number. They're going to share their CFC number with you, and then we're going to give them 2 minutes to present and talk a little bit about what they're doing, what the needs are, and especially the need that has changed since we've been hit by a worldwide pandemic. A lot of the programs, and Jen and I just got off. Jennifer Howard, our National Operations Director, and Wonder Woman is here on the call today, and we were talking a little bit about it. We were just off on a call where everybody was dressed up, and I guess to be a presenter, you have to be dressed up today. So I'll stick with you, Jen. So we're both.
No. Show them the other one, Mike. Come on.
I think everybody saw it. It gets creepier every time.
Get ready for it, guys. I'm serious.
It gets creepier every time I put it on. I don't know, Ken.
Oh my gosh.
Does it look like some kind of threatening clown? I don't know. I don't like. I guess it's this right here. But anyway,
it looks like. Hey, Mike. It looks like you're giving us the pink finger.
I got 2 fingers. Oh, wait.
Ooh.
So please talk a little bit about put your CFC code in the chat. I'll take everybody to your CFC listing, and then we will we'll go to your website and learn a little bit more about your organization. But thank you very much for joining us for the Arts and Culture Cause Week conversation. Jen, do you have anything to add?
No, I just wanted to ask, I apologize for my tardiness. I believe this is being recorded, so full disclosure. And Antonia, are we also streaming live on YouTube right now?
I actually just messaged you. I am not able to stream it live because I do not have the YouTube login credentials. So if you're able to log in on that, then
we'll get it on. We'll get it over there for sure. But thank you for at least acknowledging that we are recording this, and it will be shared on social media tomorrow to continue promoting this week's cause of the week, arts and culture. So thanks to all our charities and our feds for being here today. Antonia, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Yes. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Our first charity who will be speaking today is the Black Academy of Arts and Letters out of North Texas, Mr. Albertus Lewis.
Okay, thank you. I think I just did that right.
You did. 69221 in the chat.
Yeah, getting there.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody. My name is Albertus Lewis. I'm a board member with the Black Academy of Arts and Letters. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for for the opportunity to participate in this conference, specifically Antonio Gonzalez and your staff with McGuire and McGuire. We at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters appreciate your efforts to facilitate the combined federal campaign during this very difficult period. The mission of the Black Academy of Arts and Letters is to promote, cultivate, and preserve the African, African-American, and Caribbean arts and letters. The funds the Institute raises through the campaign will help the Academy facilitate its youth initiatives, where we have cultivated exceptional talent among youth for over 40 years with iconic programming, which has attracted nationwide acclaim. Number one, our Young, Gifted, and Black Young Artist Series, one of our premier programs for exceptionally talented youth. The program is designed to further enrich selected youth who display exceptional artistic qualities in the performing arts. These students participate in special performances open to the public at the Academy's Theater Center. Secondly, the Summer Arts Intensive Education Training Program with the Masters. This one-on-one intensive training program is designed for students who wish to further their careers in the performing arts. And finally, the Summer Youth Arts Institute, where over 400 student scholarships are available on a first-come, first-served basis, supported in part by the Dallas Independent School District, Summer Enrichment Program, and the Dallas Office of Cultural Affairs and the Academy Board of Directors. In closing, we at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters acknowledge that our association and participation in the combined federal campaign has resulted in expanded our brand to a community with a long-standing and proud tradition of financial support to charitable organizations. Thank you, and I am Albertus Lewis Jr., board member with the Black Academy of Arts and Letters, and our CFC number is 69221. I'm pretty sure I'm within 2 minutes.
You did great, Albertus. It was right on 2 minutes, man. That was dynamite. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have you seen what is it that you've seen change in your program since COVID? Not only needs, but how about program deployment? What have you had to do differently to make it so T-ball can go out and do the work it does with so many restrictions on movement, communication, and gathering? What are you guys doing different?
Right. Well, one of the things we're doing different, we have several facilities that we use at the Arts Center. One of them is the Muse Theater, which normally holds about 275 people. We pretty much decided not to use that. We've got a theater that holds about 1,500 people. So we decided to do most of our programming in there, so because we can actually do a better job of social distancing in there. If we have a program that we figure would normally bring about 200 people into the Muse Theater, we'll go and perform it, put it on there, and we'll have people buy tickets in groups, and as they attend, they spread out, and we can still do some programming. And it's becoming very difficult, but we all are having to adapt ourselves and acclimate ourselves to what's going on. I think what's been most disappointing to us, but we hope changes in the very near future, is we've had to reduce the size of our training programs for youth. I mentioned the 400 students that usually attend our Arts Institute in the summer. We had to cancel that program this past summer, and we're hoping we can do some form of it next year if they get this pandemic under control. But if we can't, we're in negotiation with the city of how we could put that on in a reduced version. But again, it is the contributions with the combined federal campaign right now. You can imagine those $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000 a month checks that are coming in now are making a big difference at a time when we're not having a lot of programming. The one thing that I can say, and I've tried to convince our board members and our founding president, Mr. Curtis King, that if we can stay affiliated with the combined federal campaign, that it has provided us with some consistent income. There have been some glitches along the way from the beginning, but I hope to report at my next board meeting next Tuesday that since June, we've had a consistent flow of funds coming in. And as I say, it may not be a lot, but it makes a difference.
Well, that's an important component, for the federal employees that are on. And thank you very, very much, Albertus. For the folks that are on, that those small gifts combined into significant money comes consistently to the charities in the combined federal campaign. through the giving site, through the reporting. One of the things that Albertus and I did last month was get on and go over the site, make sure he understood where he could see the payments. Now it's clear he can report out to his board. It's consistent payments, and that's what the CFC does. And we're very happy to continuing to work with the Black Academy of Arts and Letters. So thank you very much for joining us today. Antonia?
Thank you. Thank you, Albertus. I really appreciate you joining us today. Our next charity that will be speaking is Black Hills Works out of Heart of the Midlands, Miss Tammy Hopp.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Coming through loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. I'm Tammy Hopp. I'm the Director of Philanthropy for Black Hills Works. We support nearly 600 people with disabilities throughout the Rapid City area. That is in western South Dakota. For those of you who aren't familiar with our little part of paradise here. The people we support are good neighbors, valued friends, active volunteers, talented artists, productive workers. I mean, they are really living life very fully. To bring it home to the conversation we're having today about arts and culture, we also have two very unique programs, two enterprises that are part of the Black Hills Works family. One is the Susie Kappa Art Center and Gallery in downtown Rapid City, and the other is Flutter Productions, an all-ability theater company. Susie Kappa was founded in 2001. We employ 30 artists full-time with disabilities whose work is created and sold at the Susie Kappa Art Center. We provide all of their materials to make that happen. We connect them with professional artists, volunteers, and of course our own staff, and helping them grow as artists and explore new ways of creating art. In addition to the 30 artists that we support as employees, we also provide art therapy throughout our agency to the people we support. Flutter Productions is, as I said, an all-ability theater production company. It has produced over 10 original dance theater productions in its history. By all ability, I mean that we, the actors and the behind the stage work of all that happens at Flutter is a mix of people we support with disabilities and members of the community who support them and are a part of our productions as well. Both the Susie Kappa Art Center and Flutter Productions really have helped illustrate not only internally for us the transformative nature of art, but the inner confidence that comes from creating and growing and doing something unique, and then having people come to see your work, as in the production company, or buy your work, there's nothing to compare to that. But likewise, it also helps change the perception of our community and what a disability really is or isn't. So it's been a really fun partnership with our own Rapid City community, and very unique to the region in terms of providing these artistic opportunities for people with disabilities. So to wrap up, how COVID has affected this, a lot of what I've just described was pre-COVID. The gallery has been closed to the public, but we have been bringing our artists into the gallery so they can continue to create their work, and we're doing a lot virtually. We have virtual art therapy, dance therapy, music therapy going into the homes of the people we support. So in that way, we're reaching more people. We're all, though, really, really anxious to get back to the work of just being available to our community and showing what we can do. Right now, just about everyone we support is staying home to stay safe, and we're all getting a little cabin fever around that, but they're having meaningful days. It's what we do. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Tammy. Thank you very much for joining us and talking about your wonderful program. I happen to love Rapid City, South Dakota. I love your little corner of the world. So thank you very much for joining us and continuing to support the CFC and the work that you do. Federal employees love what you do, support what you do, and we're really grateful to be working with you again this year. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Antonia?
Yeah, thank you. The next charity that we have speaking is the Anchorage Museum Association out of Alaska, and we have Miss Zoe Olson.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Zoe Olson. I'm the individual and corporate giving manager at the Anchorage Museum. And I think something that strikes me is just how a lot of these organizations on the call today are very local, they're very community oriented, but all of us coming together today are all about, I think, what the common theme is that we're all really a big part of our communities. The Anchorage Museum has certainly been around for a while. It started in the late 60s in downtown Anchorage. We have a lot of federal office neighbors in the downtown area in Anchorage. The museum has certainly evolved over time. It serves a number of artists. We serve approximately 10,000 students per year that come through for a pretty robust field trip program. And we have a number of public programs which serve around 200,000 people every year. So as again, a common theme is a lot of that has certainly been disrupted this year. And I think, like many of you, are certainly facing some in this industry serious financial challenge going into next year. So again, cannot reiterate how appreciative we are of the opportunity to share our mission. The biggest way that we've adapted to the changes this year, I think, is to really take a look at the way that we serve the community. And that has been through increasing a lot of virtual access and access in particular for students. And so I think the connection with the families that we have in Anchorage and in Alaska, and in a really amazing way worldwide and nationwide, we've had virtual school field trips from classes in Florida this year and other states. So we are really appreciative of all of the support. And thank you so much again for this opportunity.
Thank you for being here. I was actually a student that grew up going to the museum. I went through Anchorage School District, Clatt Elementary and Mears and Diamond, and it's a beautiful museum. So thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Ken, you're on the phone. Is the Anchorage Museum the one that has the Feds Free Friday?
Yes, it is.
Well, it's a wonderful program, and I want to highlight it here right now, Zoe. Ken, we were on a team call yesterday, and we were talking about what's working locally, and I brought it up actually on a call earlier where there was another museum in Indianapolis, and we recommend it's the National Veterans Museum. So Zoe and the Anchorage Museum started free. Am I gonna say it wrong, Ken? Free Feds Fridays. And Free Feds Fridays allows for federal employees to come in, and the $12 admissions fee is waived, and that's a great way to get people to come out. And obviously all the social distancing and safety protocols are in place to allow that. But I couldn't think of a better way to spend a Friday afternoon, than getting to know and getting to walk through a museum and learning and relearning some of the things that I'm sure that is there at the Anchorage Museum. So Zoe, thank you. And thank you for recognizing federal employees, and we're all working from home. We all want to get out and to have the museum recognize that and offer that kind of program on Friday.
They are their neighbors there, Mike. You might remember that area of downtown Anchorage. I'm sure you'll have a lot of feds walking across the street to the annex and federal building there to visit. And thanks for sharing the idea of having students from Florida attend a virtual event. I'm sure that your colleagues here, your counterparts in the arts, are taking some notes down on some of the things they could possibly implement with their program. So thanks for sharing that too.
So we're gonna take a break here for a minute and see and open it up to questions. Does anybody have any questions for everybody assembled? We're gonna talk a little bit more, meet some of the other charities. Anybody have any questions? so far about giving, about the campaign. Jen, do you want to talk a little bit about how the campaign's going right now, what the progress is?
Yeah, I'm
good news
excited to talk
report.
about that. Yeah. The campaign is just about to cross the $10 million dollar marker for amount raised so far. As of day 35 yesterday, the campaign had raised 8.3 million. So we may have just had our first $1 million day, Mike, as I say that out loud. I think between yesterday and today, we might have had our first $1 million day, which is fantastic. What's important to acknowledge is that on day 35 last year, 4.1 million had been raised. On day 35 this year, 8.3. And so the campaign has started very strong, guys. What we know is that federal employees are not only generous, but they want to help. It's who they are as public service employees. We see a lot of leadership supporting the campaign. In fact, just before this, as Mike was mentioning, we're dressed up. We were on a call with DFAS, Defense Finance Services Agency. And during that call, we had leadership carving pumpkins. They were literally carving their pumpkins during the call. Charities were talking, people were in costume. They were having fun. They felt like the CFC had come back to their table in a really fun way. So it was a really exciting morning that we had 2 calls. In fact, we even did one with Europe. But again, leadership is behind it. Feds want to give. CFC is an easy way for them to give a little bit over the course of a year. We have doubled the pace, but it takes each and every one of our nonprofits here to continue promoting the campaign, promote us on social media, being involved with this. Of course, we're recording this. It will be shared on our social media feeds tomorrow to continue to promote arts and culture this week, as well as other avenues of sharing. So we're off to a great start. So thanks everybody for your support. It takes each and every one of us to keep that momentum going.
Federal employees on the call, take a look at this. You can submit your own selfie, and we see a lot of folks, and it's real easy. Just click on this button, go to givecfc.org, click on that button at the bottom. This page is populated with your colleagues, a lot of our colleagues. I see Ken from Alaska. There's James Kernan from Heart of the Midlands. Jen will show up here. That's our Heart of the Midlands LFCC director. I think I just saw Lindsay up there. That's Jen right there. So go ahead and submit a selfie, take a picture of it, share it with your colleagues. It's a great way to show that the campaign, while it is national, has a national site at Give CFC. You know, and we all have, there's local sites too. Absolutely. Here's our Indiana site from this morning. But to know that there is a national site that has those rotating pictures, and you can be on it, taking a picture of that, sharing it with your colleagues, shows you how the CFC is national and local at the same time. And yeah, we're about a third of the way through the campaign. Most of the giving happens the last half of the campaign, but we're off to a tremendous start. It has to do with leadership. And we also know 2 things. Number one reason people don't give is because they're not asked. And the number one reason people do give is because they are asked by somebody they know and trust. And that's something that federal employees have been doing for 60 years, soliciting each other. They've raised $8.4 billion to support charities. So it's a formula that works. Yeah, James?
I was just going to say it's amazing, the history and the progress of the campaign. I love it.
I think there's a lot of local programming. And James, you want to talk a little bit about some of the training that you did with the Emerging Leaders Civic Advancement Program, and then we'll get back to the charities. I think this is an important program, really well received by federal employees, and sounds like it's just going to springboard into some local activities across all our zones because of what you and Allie have done over the past 5 weeks.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, we're in a unique situation because McGuire has so many different zones, and one of the things we wanted to do was take advantage of some of our other the time and talents that the team has, and a couple of us are either educators or trainers. I do a lot of leadership training with my other business, and joined hands with Allie Chang out of the St. Louis area, and she's an educator at Washington University there. And we put together a leadership program that really, it's a lot more than leadership training. And it's a combination of training and discussion But what I love so much about it, Mike, is it's blended with other people all around the country, and we break apart into discussion groups, and it really is leadership offered all through for the CFC volunteers. So it's really the civic advancement training program. And so I love the ideas and the interaction from people from the different zones. And I'm so used to being in heart of the Midlands and Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, and seeing people interact there, but it's great seeing people interact from the other zones. So we're kind of in the final stretch. We had a 5-week challenge. We finish actually next Monday is our last class. I can't believe how fast it went. But we had overwhelming response when we put the invitations out there, and we brought the class way over capacity, but I've really enjoyed it.
The last of many to come, though. We will do more sessions. So to our federal employees out there that are interested in this, let your zone manager know. And I know Lindsay is with us from NGA. You're an attendee, right, Lindsay? You attend the Emerging Leaders Civic Advancement Program.
Yes, I have been. As James said, great sessions. I think while only a very small portion of the meetings, we do get to engage with some of our colleagues across the different zones and have a brief conversation about the hot topic that Allie and James have introduced for that week. And I think some of that interaction has been my favorite, just getting to talk to people, getting different people's perspectives, and trying to take something from that I can use in the future.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we're grateful to have you both in that program, Lindsay, and serving as a loaned executive in the Gateway CFC, and even to Heartland and working with the LA team there. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, that's been one of the things that, as James said, one of the things it's I think Charities have seen this with program services too, but we opened up, we were going to have 40, limit the seats at 40. We actually got up to about 70, 75 participants, but every week there are 60, 50, 60 continuous people that are showing up for these classes. And that's something that we're seeing in a lot of CFC events. Online events are being very well attended, and it's transitioning into leadership, supporting the campaign, leadership making their ask. We had a very, at DFAS earlier this morning, there were some very emotional why these leaders gave, what Children's Hospitals did for them, and that's what we're continuing to do. So federal employees, charities, when you get an opportunity to get out there and give federal employees their why, or federal employees talk about your why, makes a huge difference in supporting the campaign and getting people to understand the value.
I think we have another Alaska charity, and that's one of the things I just want to acknowledge here that is so cool to me. We're all kind of like, I'm looking at Albertus Lewis in North Texas, which is where I live now. I'm born and raised Alaskan, so I come from Alaska. I'm so grateful we manage the Alaska CFC in addition to many others, the entire Central Time Zone and a few other zones. But to have, the Anchorage Museum on a call with people that I know in Texas and St. Louis and part of the Midlands, it's such a incredible coming together opportunity. And so we really appreciate you guys saying yes and falling forward with us as we figure out what it means to be a virtual campaign and to connect with each other in this time. So Antonia, do you want to introduce our next organization?
Yeah, thank you so much. Our next organization is going to be Arts of Life out of the Midwestern CFC zone. And we have Ann Cawley on the phone with us.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. I'm loving hearing about all of the work that's happening across the nation. It's such a great opportunity. I know I have 2 minutes, so I'll be brief. Arts of Life has existed for 20 years. We are a nonprofit that supports adult artists with intellectual and developmental disabilities. If you have a family member who has autism or Down syndrome, especially when they graduate from school, they can face a lot of challenges in finding a meaningful way to occupy their time and find community. So we really work to try to provide that to our artists. We run 2 studios, one in the city of Chicago and one in Glenview, a northern suburb, supporting 60 artists. They come in up to 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, to make art, to work together, collaborate, and also grow as leaders. So we are really proud of the professional development opportunities that we provide to our artists. They can decide if they want to grow as educators, and we will give them opportunities to develop workshops that they can teach to children, high schoolers, fellow artists. If they want to grow as curators, we have a curation committee, and they work with our guest curators to plan our exhibitions, figure out how to hang them, learn the skills to represent the studio at the exhibition openings and network. Career artists learn how to build their visibility, whether it's through social media or networking, to help to try to increase their sales as artists. We also use a model of collective decision making. So regardless of which track you choose and how you want to grow as an artist and one of those other opportunities, we want you to have a voice. So our artists vote on everything from who we hire to our party planning, our strategic planning, to everything in between. So they really have helped us to guide the direction of the organization, which has been really exciting. COVID has hit us hard. The state shut us down completely from March through August, so 6 full months. We transitioned to virtual programming, so our artists were able to still gather daily. There have been opportunities through that. We've been able to schedule artist tours, gallery tours, studio tours with people across the nation. That's been a wonderful opportunity. And even between our studios, there's been more collaboration. We have artists who've been writing poems together, and they had never previously worked together because they were in different studios. So there are positives. We have begun to reopen our studios gradually. It has meant an entire overhaul of our space. What used to be very communal existence with all of our artists working together and eating lunch together and having meetings. We now basically have 3 mini studios within each studio with a separate entrance, separate bathroom, separate staff support to help keep everyone safe. So it's been a major transition for all of us. The CFC, like so many people have said, gives that consistency of funding and something that we know we can project in our cash flows. So it's something that we can plan on when there's a lot of inconsistencies. We anticipate losing over this year 50% of our state funding, which amounts to a quarter of our total annual budget. So having that support is really helpful. Typically, I would say the donations support art supplies, staff support, field trips. Some of that has changed. The field trips are postponed. Our exhibitions are postponed. They're all virtual. But it continues to support with the basics, the art supplies and the staff support, but also now the combination, the bringing of the 2 programs together. So the in-person and the virtual, trying to keep everyone connected, whether they are able to be in our studios or still at home, trying to keep that sense of community and keep everyone being creative and productive and motivated during what is a very challenging and isolating time.
Thank you very much, Ann. Thank you for walking us through that and for the work you do. Remember, in the Combined Fed, do you guys still do? Are there volunteer activities? We had that conversation in a call before. So is that still something that you guys can work out during this challenging time?
Definitely, yeah. We have volunteers who are helping us with virtual programming. So they take on different programs and projects, workshops. We just had some volunteers run voting workshops over 4 weeks to teach our artists to talk about their rights and how to make sure that they are able to vote and make the decisions on who to vote for. We also have boards, an executive board, but also an associate board for young professionals. That's a great way. It's all virtual right now. We have a spooky trivia night tonight that our associate board is planning. So that can be a really fun social group to be a part of that supports our organization and builds our community.
Spooky trivia night. All right. I want to find that for federal employees. Thank you very much, Ann. For federal employees, as you're looking through organizations that have these raised hands on the giving site, are organizations that have submitted the correct information to have volunteer activities recognized through the Combined Federal Campaign. So remember, you can also give volunteer time through the CFC. So thank you very much, Ann. Antonia?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ann. Our next speaker is going to be the Youth Symphony Association of Kansas City out of the Heartland CFC zone, Mr. Stephen Murray.
Good afternoon and thank you. Our CFC number is 56900. And my name is Stephen Murray, and I'm the Executive Director of the Youth Symphony of Kansas City. And we just are grateful for the opportunity to share a little bit about our incredible kids who are very passionate about their music. This is our first time as an organization, at least in recent years, as a part of the CFC. So we are excited for the opportunity to participate and to be involved this year. For 62 years, Youth Symphony of Kansas City has challenged, educated, and inspired students through meaningful and enriching musical education programs. And our tagline is "Hear the Future Now," which truly rings true, I would say, because these kids are the future of orchestral music, whether they're educators or if they're arts lovers or performers in some of the professional orchestras across the U.S. Often there's a false perception that classical music is dead, or maybe it's only for a select few of the community who appreciate such music. But in a typical year, Youth Symphony of Kansas City educates 450 students in 4 full orchestras and other music programs. And last year, 45% of all musicians identified as students of color. So, now more than ever with this pandemic and during this challenging time, is it critical for our young people to have opportunities where they can excel and shine and achieve. And that's exactly what the Youth Symphony of Kansas City provides. And, really, it's been interesting. Generally, we would have weekly rehearsals with students, about 100 in each orchestra. And we've transitioned that entirely in response to the pandemic, transitioned that entirely to an online delivery method, where we've got a new program that we've rolled out earlier this year called Orchestras Online, where students learn in large and small group settings from our professional musicians and educators across the community. It kind of looks a little bit like this meeting today and many of the meetings we've all been in for the last umpteen months. Additionally, this year we are producing 2 virtual concerts. Again, typically we would have large concerts in our area concert halls that would be available generally at little cost or no cost to the public. But this year we've got virtual concerts that are planned for New Year's Day and April of 2021. And these will be streaming and online at no cost to folks. So I'm getting the phone. I think I must be out of time.
Well, thank you very much for presenting, and Stephen, it's I can imagine having to put on any kind of education online is a challenge right now. Parents are doing it, but I would imagine Symphony is got to be difficult. But I would also think, because we've seen some of these, that the shows are incredible. It's very inspiring when these events take place, especially when you have kids that have worked so hard. So thank you for continuing to do it, to figure out a way to do it, and for bringing the Youth Symphony to Kansas City and beyond, obviously. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Antonia?
Our final charity for today is back to Alaska. I'm thinking I'm saying this right, Ellutic Museum. April?
Thank you. It's Ellutic Museum. And Chimai, hello everybody. My name is Dr. April Lactonin, counselor. My Ellutic name, or my native name, is Ishik. I'm a tribal member from the Ellutic region and Kodiak Island, Alaska, and I'm the executive director of the Ellutic Heritage Foundation, which does business as the Ellutic Museum and Archaeological Repository. Our CFC code is 58734. Our museum is a culture center, an archaeological repository, and a community gathering area, at least before COVID. Our mission is to preserve and share Ellutic heritage and living culture. The Ellutic people are the Alaska Native people from Kodiak Island and the Kodiak Archipelago, South Central Alaska. We're a coastal dwelling Native group, but our museum serves more than just the Native community. We serve the entire, both virtual and physical communities that are interested in Ellutic culture. Our museum is one of only 2 nationally accredited Native-run museums, so we're really at the pinnacle of professional standards for museum operations. And we have a platinum seal of fiscal transparency from GuideStar. It's our 25th anniversary this year. It's quite a year to be celebrating that kind of milestone. So what do we do at the Ellutic Museum? In addition to our physical and our online exhibits, we do community archaeology with volunteers. We have educational outreach for classrooms, cultural publications, iPhone and Android apps. We work with elders to do Ellutic language revitalization for our local native language preschool. And we have an art store that supports native artists in our community. We're a very small culture on an island in Alaska, but we do have friends and supporters from around the world. And I hope that you will check out our website that's being shown right now. Support from individuals and families is really critical for our small organization to conduct its mission both here on the island and online. We're so thankful to be able to participate for the first time in the CFC this year. So getting invited to share today was a big deal for us. Thank you so much for inviting us, and we want to acknowledge the organizers and all the other participants. Koyana Sinak, thank you very much. And it's good to be on the call today. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
April.
you.
That was
great. Yeah. And thank you for sharing our post. I noticed on Facebook you shared the arts and culture post for Alaska CFC. So that's a great way for your organization and all CFC charities to promote themselves is through the social media website. So if you're not yet following your zone's website or Facebook page, go do that. And great job sharing. And thank you for all you do there in Kodiak. It's such a beautiful place that you live.
Thank you. And I forgot to acknowledge Juna Davidson, who's our public programs manager, who's also on the call. Thank you for your help, Juna.
Thank you all. So we're gonna wrap this up. If anybody has any questions before we wrap it up, or any comments or thoughts, feedback, please unmute yourself, share it with us. We're about 4 weeks into these cause weeks. We've seen participation grow, federal employees, interest grow from charities. And it's also something that our zone managers, we have Midwestern, we have North Texas, Texas Gulf Coast and North Texas and Heart of the Midlands and Alaska that are all here. And the idea is to start using this as a springboard to do these locally, maybe on a Thursday. So maybe increase the number of events that local charities have, and then also get the local coordinators to attend, get the colleagues to attend locally. And so we've had some success. Any feedback that anybody wants to share, you can share it in the chat, unmute yourself, give us your thoughts on how these Cause Week conversations have gone, if you've been to multiple, or how it went today. We're anxious to improve and also respond to any thoughts you have. Anybody want to share any comments? Jen, did you have any thoughts on? No,
this is where other people speak and not us, right? Feel free to.
That's the intent.
Yeah, that's the intent, right? It can be kind of intimidating for sure.
Well, you are Wonder Woman, and you did, you are from North Texas and Alaska, so.
That's all you need to know, right? Alaska grown. That's where it started.
Mike, I can offer my feedback if that's welcome.
Thank you, Tammy.
Yes.
Please, yes.
Yes. I don't know if I can follow in Wonder Woman's shoes, but I will say that this was great. It was my first, as an organization, our first opportunity to have a conversation like this in a conversation cause week. And I think it's a really great way to elevate an issue, a particular issue, as well as learn from nonprofits around the country that are doing similar work. It's especially, I think, relevant and helpful to the federal employees who might be tuning into this to see how they can make a difference in a cause that really matters to them. And to elevate one nonprofit is really to elevate us all. And that's, I think, the power of these kinds of conversations. It's not so much donations for our particular organization, but providing federal employees the knowledge and information to make informed decisions as to a cause they want to support and how to do that. So I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. Thank you very much. I appreciate the feedback. I agree. I I find these conversations and the things that I learn about the need and the wonderful programs that the CFC supports, the wonderful professionals that work at the nonprofits. It's kind of exhilarating. It kind of refills your cup, so to speak. So thank you all very much for joining us. I look forward to this every week. And Jen, do you have anything you want to say in closing?
No, just keep up the great work, guys. We can't appreciate all of you guys enough for the work you do in your community. I think Tammy, you said it great, you know, rising tides lifts all boats. And so whether you give to one of these organizations or one of these organizations and others, you know, go to givecfc.org today, make your gift, give generously. As we know, the need is great and it's greater than ever. So thanks everybody for your support.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Antonia, James, Ken. Great to see you. Great to see you, Carrie. Lindsay, thank you for joining us, and all the charities. Have a great afternoon. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Thank you.
All right.
Bye for now.
Appreciate it.